Hello everyone, this is your educator Priyanka Thakur. I'm teaching you life sciences and welcome you all on our YouTube channel Guru Mantra Shiksha Ka Granth. So as you can see on your screens what we are going to study today. Before starting, I want to request you one thing. Please do let me know in the comment section where should I improve myself, where you are facing the problem. Whatever you want to suggest positively, you can, because I want your suggestions. I want to know where is the problem, so that I can improve wherever I need to. And I will as I said, I will try to give you my best, and I will. But you should suggest me in the comment section if you're not liking the video, if you're not liking anything, like anything. So do suggest in the comment section, do tell your problems, as I want more and more students to watch the video. I will definitely improve wherever is required. And please be positive while suggesting anything. Okay, so let's start today's topic. Fine. Which is expression of lac operon in merozygotes. Fine. We will come to know what are merozygotes. So what happens in Escherichia coli? Sometimes Escherichia coli consists of lac operon, which is incorporated in its F factor. Not all the Escherichia coli have fertility factor. Some have, some don't. And this F factor may be incorporated by lac operon. Fine. So now this F factor can pass, this F factor which is containing lac operon, it can be passed from a F positive strain to a F negative strain. And this F negative strain become functionally diploid now. Okay, because of a F negative strain is the strain of Escherichia coli, is the cell which is not having any fertility factor. So now a fertility factor containing lac operon has been introduced in this F strain. So it is now functionally diploid for lac operon. First, it is having its lac operon in its own chromosome, and other operon is present in the fertility factor. So this cell, this F strain, become functionally diploid for lac operon, and this partially diploid cell or functionally diploid cell have an exogenode. The F factor is an exogenode. Fine. Exogenode is the genome which is released by the cell and which can be picked up by any other cell. Fine. So exogenode, there is an exogenode now in the F negative strain, and it is also having its own genome. So it is functionally diploid for lac operon, but having an exogenode, so it is called as merozygote or partial diploid. Fine. Okay. So Jacob develops merozygotes of the lac genes to analyze the regulatory mutants. He wanted to understand the functioning of regulatory mutants, so he developed merozygotes for lac genes. He performed complementation tests. What is this complementation test? So any experiment in which gene or gene clusters are tested pairwise. Remember, the experiment in which genes or gene clusters are tested pairwise is called complementation test. Here, you see on your screens now, a lac operon in Escherichia coli with a mutation in regulatory gene, I negative. I positive will be wild type, I negative will be mutated type. If you haven't seen the previous video, okay, if your basics are clear, then fine, continue with this video. If your basics are not clear, then please do check the previous one. Okay, you need to check the other video in which I have talked about all these genes, their and the mutation in the operons. Do check out that video so that it will be easy for you to understand this lecture as well. So this is a lac operon having a mutated regulatory gene. This is only the bacterial chromosome, E. coli chromosome. Here we can see the regulatory gene has been mutated. So when there is a mutation in the regulatory gene, it fails to produce any repressor, or even if it produces any repressor, it is non-functional. So it means there will be no binding of any pressure to the operator gene, and now operator gene will not be inhibited, and it allows the RNA polymerase at promoter to transcribe our structural genes constitutively. Fine, because there is no repression, the transcription will occur in a constitutive manner, in a constant manner. Okay, fine. And the second cases here, like case first B part, an Escherichia coli having actually a diploid, partial diploid strain it is, which is also having the F factor. Fine. So here we can see E. coli chromosome have a mutated regulatory protein which is not synthesizing any repression. But the gene on the F factor is wild type. The regulatory gene on the F factor is wild type. It can produce a sufficient repression. It can produce sufficient normal repression. Now this repression is a trans-acting protein, so it can bind to both the operators. I mean the operator of E. coli and the operator of F factor as well. And now this repressor is binding to the operator on both the operon, so there will be no transcription of structural genes. Now it will be turned off. Both the operons will be turned off as there is the binding of repression on the operator protein. Operator gene has been inhibited. It won't allow the RNA polymerase present on the promoter to continue the transcription of our structural genes. Do you get it? What happens if there is mutated regulatory gene and what if there is wild type gene on the F factor? So we got to know that even if E. coli chromosome is having a mutated regulatory protein, the regulatory protein on the F factor will be able to synthesize a sufficient repressor. That repressor protein will bind to both the operons and hence will repress both of them. Okay, here is another case. In case 2, the lac operon in E. coli is having a mutation in the operator region. Okay, the regulatory protein is now a wild type, so it is synthesizing its repressor in a normal way. Here the normal repressor is being synthesized, but as we can see the operator has been mutated now. It says, hey repressor, I don't care about you anymore, and I don't want to be along with you, so you cannot bind with me now, and I am now the best friend of promoter region, and I will allow the RNA polymerase to continue the transcription. You are not welcomed anymore. Okay, fine. So if the regulatory protein is a wild type and operator is mutated, then repressor may be synthesized in a normal way, but it no longer be able to bind with the operator region. Hence there will be the constitutive transcription of all our structural genes. Fine. And next is the other case where E. coli is having a mutated operator, but operator on the F factor is the normal one. But here, this is a cis-acting sequence. The repressor will be synthesized normally, but as we can see that regulatory proteins are wild type in both the operons. Fine, it is wild type in both the operons. So repressor will be synthesized normally, but here in the Escherichia coli chromosome, operator has been mutated, so the repressor won't be able to bind with the operator region, and there will be constitutive transcription of structural gene. While in case of F factor, the operator is wild type, it is normal type. Normal type repressor is being synthesized. This repressor will be able to bind with the operator region and will prevent further transcription of the structural gene, and the operon will be repressed. Fine. So compare both the cases and understand what will happen if a regulatory protein is mutated or if operator protein is mutated. See, let's see some characters of this partial diploid, some more character of this partial diploids having the combination of LAC I and LAC O, and we will check the expression for the LAC Z genes. See the genotype, it means a partial diploid, it will have its own chromosome and other F factor with operon. Genotype I positive, O positive, Z positive, matlab also same in the F factor as well. See, it's all wild type. It means I positive regulatory gene will be producing a normal repressor. Operator is also normal. So without inducer, when there is no inducer, repressor will be able to bind with the operator and there will be no expression of lag genes, minus sign here. No expression of lag genes without inducer. But if the inducer is present, it will bind to the repressor and then operator, there will be no binding of repressor on operator and further normal transcription of structural gene will takes place. So we got to know that without inducer there is no expression of lag set, but with inducer there will be the expression of lag set. So we got to know the phenotype is inducible type. We need an inducer to start the transcription. So next is here the regulatory protein is mutated. So either the inducer is present or in absent, we must have the expression of LAG-Z gene. How? Because the mutated regulatory gene will not be producing any repressor, or it will be producing a non-functional repressor which will not be able to bind with the operator protein either the inducer is present or not. So we will see the constitutive expression of our structural gene. Here the two genome are having the different regulatory proteins. One is mutated, other one is not mutated. It is normal, as we have just seen in the previous diagrams, that one is mutated and other one is not. Then other one will be able to produce the sufficient repressor to repress both of the operons. So here, if the inducer is present, if the inducer is not present, there will not be any expression of LAG-Z gene. Why? Because if the inducer is there, repressor will, if inducer is not there, repressor will be synthesized by the regulatory protein and it will bind to the operator region of both the operons and there will be no expression of the LAG-Z genes. But if inducer is present, then this inducer will bind with the repressor and now there will be nothing that will bind to the operator region and we can see the normal expression of the LAG-Z gene. So that is why we will get an inducible type of phenotype. And here in this, the operator gene has been mutated. So either inducer is present or not, we will have normal expression of LAG-Z genes. So we will see a constitutive phenotype. You know now why we are having the constitutive phenotype in this case? Because operator is now mutated, there is a conformational change in the operator region and it will no longer be binding with the repressor and there will be normal transcription of Z genes and all other genes. Either the inducer is present or not. Fine. And in the next case, as you can see, regulatory proteins are normal in both the operons, but in one, operator is mutated, in the other, Z gene is mutated. Here again, you will see either inducer is present or not, there is constitutive expression of the genes. Why? Because in the one operon, as we know, in the one operon, there will be operator gene which has been mutated. It won't be binding to the repressor now. Fine. So it is continuously giving its expression, and the other one here the Z gene is mutated. Fine. Here the Z gene is mutated and I positive, I mean in regulatory protein is wild type, our operator is wild type, but Z gene has been mutated. It may be expressing itself in some other way. Even if it is not expressing, this reason will be constantly giving giving the expression of LAG-Z gene and other genes also. So they will be the constitutive phenotype that will be the result of such a combination. So next here, operator region has been mutated and I negative in this case, regulatory protein has been mutated. Again, we know that operator region will not be able to bind with the repression, and here repressor is not being synthesized. So we will see the constitutive expression, constitutive phenotype, either the inducer is present or absent. If you're having any problem, like any, if you didn't get any of these, you can comment in the comment box if you're watching this video. Fine? Okay. So now let's know about the positive regulation of catabolite repression. Fine. Well, what about the positive regulation of catabolite repression? See, although lactose can induce the expression of lac operon, the level of expression is very low. The reason for this is that lac operon is subjected to catabolite repression, or the reduced expression of genes brought on by growth in the presence of glucose. So here what it is trying to say is that we know that lactose can induce the lac operon expression, but the level of expression remains low. Why? Because there is a catabolite repression. If glucose is present in the medium, then the lac operon genes will reduce their expression. Why it will happen? Because glucose is very easily metabolized. So it is the preferred fuel source over lactose. If both glucose and lactose are present in the medium, then E. coli will be metabolizing glucose, not lactose, because we know that the product that we get in the lac operon is beta galactosidase, and beta galactosidase ultimately cleave the lactose into glucose and galactose, which are actually being used as a source of energy. But here, if glucose is present in the medium, then E. coli must be using glucose and not lactose. So it makes sense to prevent the expression of lac operon when glucose is present, no? Okay. So when glucose is metabolized and lactose is repressed, result is a diauxic growth. See, this is the graph showing the relative density of glucose and lactose, and for the this side relative level of beta galactosidase along with time. See, here the growth on glucose. So we can see the relative level of beta galactosidase is quite low, but as the glucose is being exhausted, there is the growth on lactose, and level of beta galactosidase increases. So we got to know if the glucose is there in medium, it will be used by the E. coli as a source of energy, and at that time less transcription of beta galactosidase will take place. Why? Because the function of beta galactosidase is to cleave the lactose into glucose and galactose, but already glucose is there in the medium. So beta galactosidase doesn't need to perform its function to that extent, and that's why the expression of lac genes is reduced. You understand now? This is we call catabolite repression, and how it is being positively regulated. See, the strength of a promoter is determined its ability to bind RNA polymerase and to form an open complex. So we know that strength of promoter is determined by what? Its ability to bind RNA polymerase and to form an open complex. So the promoter for the lac operon is weak. The promoter for lac operon is comparatively weak, and consequently the lac operon is poorly transcribed upon the induction. The promoter of lac operon is weak. It needs some enhancers. So there is a binding site upstream from the promoter. This binding site is for a protein called the catabolite activator protein, or also called as cyclic AMP receptor protein. As I have told you in my previous lectures, that there are always some binding sites upstream of promoter region and downstream of promoter regions. Some proteins get bound to those sites. They may be enhancing the transcription, or may be doing what? They may be enhancing the transcription or maybe doing what? Inhibiting it. Fine. So there is a binding site upstream from the promoter. Here, this is a binding site for protein called catabolite activator protein or CMP receptor protein. So when this catabolite activator protein, it binds to DNA, it distorts it so that RNA polymerase can bind more effectively, and thus transcription of lac operon is greatly enhanced. You understand? When catabolite activator protein get attached to that DNA sequence, it actually distort the DNA, and this distortion allow the RNA polymerase to bind with the promoter more effectively. And we know that the strength of RNA polymerase, the strength of promoter is determined its ability to bind with the RNA polymerase and to form an open complex. So here the DNA has been distorted and the RNA polymerase is binding more effectively now. So thus the transcription level will be high. There will be enhancement in the level of transcription. It will increase. So in order to bind, the catabolite activator protein must first bind with cyclic AMP. Fine. If this cap protein wants to bind with the sequence present upstream from the promoter, it needs to bind with the cyclic AMP, which act as a second messenger, and it is synthesized from ATP by an enzyme called adenylate cyclase. So in the presence of glucose, the circulating CMP level is very low, and consequently the initiation of transcription from the lac operon is also low. You understand? When the glucose is higher side in the medium, the circulating CMP level is low, and that's why the transcription from the lac operon is also very low. But if the level of glucose decreases, there is the increase in the concentration of cyclic AMP, and this cyclic AMP will bind to the CAP, our catabolite activator protein, or a CMP receptor protein, which in turn will bind to the CAP site, which is present upstream from the promoter, and now it will stimulate the transcription. So we got to know that cyclic AMP or CRP complex is called a positive regulator. Fine. So we know that the main regulation that takes place in the lac operon is the negative one, not positive one. But there is also the positive regulation going on in the lac operon. It is mainly an example of negative regulation because the regulation will mainly depend upon the regulatory gene. But here is another sequence to which bind a catabolite activator protein, and which will be enhancing the transcription level in the lac operon. So this is all about the positive regulation of what? Lac operon. So this is the effect of the concentration of glucose, lactose and CAMP in the growth medium on the level of transcription from E. coli promoter. So if the level of glucose is low, if the concentration of glucose is low, we know that at that time the concentration of cyclic AMP will be high. But what if lactose concentration is low? If lactose concentration is low, then it won't be able to bind with the repressor in a much quantity, in a bigger quantity. So most of the lac repressor will be binding to the operator, and there will be lower level of transcription. Glucose concentration is low, CMP concentration is high. Even if the concentration of CMP is high, but if the concentration of lactose is low, there will be lower level of transcription. So lactose is the main regulator still. Fine. If the glucose concentration is high, lactose concentration is low, CMP concentration is low, again definitely we know that lac repressor will bind to the operator and there will be low level of transcription. Okay. Glucose concentration, in fact more lower to this one. Okay. More lower to this condition. If the glucose concentration is high, lactose concentration is high, this is what happens in normal type of our operator, which is not having any cap binding site. Glucose concentration is high, lactose concentration is high, but cyclic AMP concentration is low. If cyclic AMP concentration is low, it won't be able to bind with cap, and cap further will not be able to bind with the promoter region, and it will not enhance the level of transcription even if the lactose concentration is high. Just because glucose concentration is also high, CAMP concentration will be low, and that complex CMP CRP complex will not be formed, which is acting as a positive regulator, so there will be lower level of transcription. In the last, you can see glucose concentration is low, but lactose concentration is high, CMP concentration is high. Then there will be the formation of CAMP or CAP complex or CRP complex, which will further bind to the promoter and will result in the increase in transcription, as it will enhance the level of transcription. So that is all about merozygotes, about the positive regulation of lac operon. If you are having any kind of problem, if you have any kind of suggestion, do let me know in the comment section, but positively. Thank you.